Okay, so I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is I got the day to stop repeating over and over again. Got to relax, get a shave, that sort of thing. Bad news. I've been framed for a bombing of this art museum in town. So now, in order to get out of it, I've been told I had to review the series Traveler from 2007. So, I guess that's what I'm going to do. Don't ask me why. Such a ridiculous task, but we're going to do it. So, Traveler came out the very next season after Daybreak. I don't have the DVD. I actually watched this on YouTube. It was an HD too, which is good quality. I used to have every episode on VHS, and it wasn't very good quality because it was a VHS that had been recorded over many times, so it wasn't the best quality. And we didn't actually have cable. We had to use an antenna, so it already wasn't that good of quality. So this is like the first time I watched it in HD, and the first time in years that I've watched this. Like years. But, yeah, so like the very next season after Daybreak was canceled, this came in, and it only lasted 8 episodes. So 8 episodes. And I think because of that, I think it works a little bit better than Daybreak. It is very similar. There's someone, this time 2 people, who are framed for something they didn't do. They're on the run, trying to prove their innocence, only the day is not repeating over and over again. It's really weird because I looked it up. No one who worked on Daybreak worked on this, but they have the weird edits between commercials where there's like weird transition things. They have those. They're a little bit different than the ones on Daybreak, but I don't know. It's very interesting how they did that. But yeah, and then, so yeah, I was, Daybreak was canceled. I'm like, what am I going to do? Then I saw a trailer for this. Okay, this looks interesting. It's another one of those we're on the run from the cops type shows, but it does look pretty interesting. So I watched it. I remember watching all 8 episodes, and after that was... So back in the day, when this was around, 2006, 2007, you didn't have, like, the internet wasn't like it is now, where they report every time a show was canceled or renewed or whatever. So I had to look on a site called TV.com, which would report the status of a TV show. And after a great while, it was reported on there. It said status canceled. And I was so upset because the way this show ends, we'll get to it, but it's not a satisfying conclusion. Where Daybreak can say it was a satisfying conclusion, it tied up most of the loose ends while leaving a few things like Jared Pryor and Chad and like one more other thing, like why he was going around in lube. This was specifically set up to be a season finale, setting up things that would move forward in the next season. It never happened. But here's a plot crunch for you. 3 friends in graduate school, not college because they're all in their mid-20s. A couple of them are already 30. But like from graduate school, Will, Jay, and Tyler go on this trip, one last trip before they have to go into the real world, have real lives. And they play this prank where Tyler and Jay, they put on roller skates and they go down these stairs in the museum. During this, though, after they do this, they get a phone call from Will asking if they got out. There's an explosion, and they are framed for the explosion. So now they're on the run from the cops, the FBI. So our 3 main characters are Jay Burchell, not Jay Baruchel. Jay Burchell, played by Matt Bomer, who you may know. He was in a couple episodes. He was like episode of Glee. He was White Collar. Tyler Fogg, played by Logan Marshall Green, who was an Upgrade, and I think the TNT series Dark Blue. He's been in other things. And Will Traveler, the title character of Traveler, played by Aaron Stanford, who was in X2 and 3, the X-Men movies. He's been in other things. And they are our three main characters. And in the beginning of this, Will is presumed dead, although we later find out he's still alive. The audience finds out before the main characters do, which I always feel like you shouldn't show your audience something before your main characters know, because then your audience is sitting there going, when are they going to get back together? When are they going to find out? It's just, come on. And because then you have them saying, oh, when he died, and you're sitting there going, he's not dead. We already saw he's still alive. But they're still saying he's dead. I don't know. It's a disconnect for me. But, yeah, so they're on the run. They're trying to get help from Tyler's father. It's later revealed he's in on it. And it's also later revealed that they were supposed to die in the explosion, but Will, having gotten close to them, it's revealed that Will's also involved, along with Tyler's dad, and the two were Jay and Tyler were supposed to die in the explosion, but Will had second thoughts because he got close to them, and so he was going to call off the bomb, but because he got in a fight, when he got there, he was supposed to activate the bomb and leave, but he got there was someone else there because they didn't trust that he could do it. So he gets into a fight with this guy and he breaks the guy's neck, killing him. And it has something to do with the painting. So he cuts out the painting and takes it with him. But the bomb starts activating again on its own. So he has to leave. And the explosion happens. Tyler and Jay, however, are taken in by Tyler's father, but it's supposed to be a hit because they're supposed to die in the explosion. So that's the whole thing. They were supposed to die. This guy, by the way, Tyler's dad, Carlton Fogg, is played by William Sadler. He wasn't in the show that much, but, you know. There are also 3 FBI agents. There's Agent Marlowe, played by Viola Davis, before she was telling you how to get away with murder. Agent Voorhees, played by Anthony Ruivar. And Special Agent in Charge, Fred Chambers, played by Stephen Culp. You may know from from Jason Goes to Hell. That's right. And it's no surprise that he's also in on it. And I remember when I first watched this and they revealed that he was in, I'm like, I knew it. I knew it the whole time. Obviously, he was in on it. He was the Chad of this series. Hate to keep comparing to David, but he was the Chad of this series. He and Adam Baldwin could be similar hairstyles. The whole journey is leading them to try to figure out why Will was doing this. You know, and why they're being framed and what's going on and all this. And they find out Will was setting them up the entire time. There's this video that goes viral, but goes out there of basically like Jay is saying a downward society and there will be blood, stuff like that. And that sort of thing. Yeah, so like, oh, he was in on from the beginning. We find out that this thing's called Operation Homeland. We do see like flashbacks from Will. We never really know Will's real name. There's another name like Taft, or whatever his last name is. I don't know, but we never find out his real name. But you know, there's also a girlfriend character, Kim, Jay's girlfriend, played by Pascal Hutton, who I know from this show, and she was in one episode of Stargate Atlantis that I know her from. She's the girlfriend character, much similar to Rita Shelton from Daybreak. Well, one question I never asked is, how come she still had Chad's last name in that show if they were divorced? Like, I understand it costs a lot to change her name, but she's already dating someone else. Maybe she was going to change it when she got married to Brett. Although they weren't even that close yet, but I don't know. Anyway, enough of that show. We're talking about this one. I'm already out of the time loop. Now I got to get cleared of murder. Not murder. I got to get cleared of it from the explosion. I'm breaking kayfabe. I can't do it anymore. The explosion I supposedly caused and stuff. I don't know. I didn't do it. Wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man. But anyway, so they are on this journey. They meet Maya, who happens to be Will's girlfriend. They also meet up with Will Tyler's ex-girlfriend, although she has a very small role. The FBI agents are on them all the time, of course, and you know, this is great. There's a lot of great running scenes, although, like I said, it's only 8 episodes, so the scripts are tighter, the story is more cohesive. There's not a lot of filler, but there is one thing where they do the cliche of Tyler and Jay splitting up. So Jay is still trying to figure out what's going on, and Tyler decides to get drunk and then sleep with someone before looking up stuff on her internet. But like, why? And even like the FBI are trying to follow him because they see him on camera. Like, well, why would he do that? Eating, he's up to something. But no, he's just drunk and he's having sex with this woman. And yeah, I don't know. It seems like filler. It's the only thing that I can see that's really filler. They find this suspect because there's another thing is that people are trying to find evidence, and every time they do, it seems something happened. Like, the whole thing is that Will's never taken a picture. He never wanted his picture taken. But Kim realizes she has a picture of Will on her camera, because they don't have phones yet. Not those kind of phones yet. The little flip ones at this point. So she gets the film developed. And as soon as she does, there's some guy there that pretends to bump into her to take the pictures. How the hell did they even know about the pictures? It's reaching. It's reaching a little much. Because it's like, we're supposed to believe, it's a little, unbelievable to me. Like, that they would just know she has a picture of him. She doesn't tell anyone. She just goes and she develops the film, and all of a sudden someone's there to take the pictures from her. I don't know. It's really stupid. We later see that he's connected to Chambers, but she never told Chambers before the pictures were taken, so her pictures were stolen from her. Meanwhile, Voorhees and Marlowe are kind of starting to believe there's something else going on here, and they're tracking down this guy. Voorhees and Chambers get him, but Chambers betrays him, shooting him, and Marlowe has to come back to find out that he's dead. That was her partner. He's dead. And, yeah, meanwhile, I gotta get to it because there's the cliffhanger with that. We'll get to it. Meanwhile, the guys reunite with Will after finding out he's still alive. And they reunite with him. By the way, there's this random African-American guy. I don't think we ever find out who he is. He's connected to Operation Homeland, I think, but I don't think we ever find out what happens to him. I think he dies. I don't know. He just sort of disappears. If I wasn't paying attention enough, maybe he died. I don't know. He just sort of disappears. He reminds me of, and again, not to draw there's the Daybreak, but he kind of reminds me of Jared, but not as weird. I don't know. But they find out, like I said, Tyler looks up something on the internet and connects it to Jack Freed, which is Neil McDonough's character. You know, it's Damien Dark and Arrow, Elizabeth Tomorrow, or if you've seen Star Trek First Contact, he's in that too. And I will be doing Star Trek movies again, just give me a little time, okay? I got a lot of stuff. Maybe I'll try to chill them out within the next couple of weeks in September here. I don't know. Don't keep me on that, but you know. So, Freed is the connection. So they meet up. They are reunited in the episode The Reunion, which is called The Reunion, but they don't actually reunite until the end. And it's really weird, because Marlowe is sort of trying to prove that they're innocent. She believes there's something's going on, that they're not getting the whole story. So, she ends up meeting with Jay, and he has proof, but she pulls a gun on him and says, "Oh, it's more than just the Drexler now. There's murder, and because the guy that tried to kill them, they left him in a hangar, and then he turned up dead. So they're wanted for murder now too. But it's like, well, if she was trying to prove there's something else going on, why is she not pulling a gun on them and saying it's more? Again, it's filler so that they have a chase. I don't know. It's really weird. It's really weird. But yeah. So Kim is forced to turn the light off, and she goes to stay with her dad eventually. I don't know. Maybe that's before this. She said she's going. I don't know. But yeah, and that's why she gets back and finds out her partner's dead. But itchy. So yeah, they find. And this is where we get to the cliffhangers. So they find Freed, they set him up so that he spills the beans. Apparently, this is about the justice system or something, and the painting has something to do with it. There's like a fourth branch. It's supposed to be a fourth branch of government. I know there's three branches out to my head. Judicial is the only thing I can think of. None of the other two, but like the fourth branch of the government, I think. They never explain it. I guess that was something supposed to be left for season 2. But we get the cliffhangers here. Marlowe finds that there's a number, the last number that the dead suspect called, and it turns out to be Chambers' phone number. Papa Fogg is shot and killed, and Kim is kidnapped. And then the guys, they call the newspaper that they parked the guy Freed with all the evidence in front of, say, hey, it's about the Drexler bombing. We know who did it. We have all the evidence in a limo with the guy who's responsible for it. Right? Okay, we got it. We're going to be free. And then the limo explodes. And they run off. And that's it. Now, as frustrated as I was when I first watched this, I was even more frustrated when I found out the show was canceled. I waited and waited to find out. I kept checking TV.com. It took forever for them to report back on it. And I waited and I waited. And the feeling I got that came over me when I saw it say canceled, I was... Because there was no conclusion. To me, this was the first time, like, this was canceled before it was finished, but Daybreak had a somewhat of a conclusion, a somewhat satisfying conclusion. This, not at all. This was clearly setting up for a second season with the cliffhanger. That who kidnapped Kim? Where is she? What's Marlowe gonna do now that she knows that Chambers is involved? What's gonna go on? Is Carlton Fogg dead, or was he just shot? Most likely dead. Who blew up the limo? There's so many questions that aren't going to be answered. We do get hints, I forgot to mention this, that Will does get kind of kidnapped by his agency, and there's this lady. It's honestly, it's another filler type episode because we get flashbacks with Will telling us what happened. We get flashbacks throughout the series telling us their past and everything, connecting stuff together. But like, there's this lady who keeps asking Will questions, and she says, well, I can see out the tells. I know the tells of everybody, and know that when their people are lying. So he keeps lying throughout the episode, and she keeps saying, that's a lie. It smacks him in the face, and it's like, why do you keep lying? Like, she keeps asking him questions where the painting is, and he keeps lying, and I'm thinking, instead of going, why do you keep lying? You know she could tell you're lying. Why do you keep doing it? It's just to keep the scene going, so it's a little bit of a filler, but she ends up dead anyway, so But yeah, Travelers, a little disappointing in the end. I'm gonna give it B-. I think it's just a little bit not as good as Daybreak. I mean, the series doesn't get repetitive like with Daybreak, but the ending at least much to desire. unlike Daybreak, so I had to compare it to it. But yeah, it's a B minus for me. But yeah, so I'm done. Hold on. Oh, what are your thoughts? Hold on. I need to hang up on him. Before I make the phone call, what are your thoughts on Travel? Let me know, comment below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hey, yeah, it's me. I did it. The review's done. Yes. So I'm a free man. What do you mean it doesn't matter? Huh? Well, I didn't hear you. What? What do you mean it doesn't matter? Because what? Aliens?